Oh, click it now?
Mm-hmm. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to a special New Year's edition of V.O.I.C.E.S RandomISH. I'm Eldridge, and I'm here with my sisters, and to my left, as always, is
D'Artagnan,
Bess, and Allison.
And we want to say cheers.
Cheers.
Okay. So the purpose of this show tonight was really just to talk a little bit about a New Year's resolution, like at the beginning of the year. And this is it's really special because not only are we going to a new year, I was asleep because it was like, we're going to a new decade. I hadn't even thought about it. So I thought that we could kind of just talk about, be a little bit reflective about things that we had done that were successful for us this year. And then think about maybe one or two things that we really want to see happen with us, maybe as sisters and individually. So whoever wants to start first is just kind of like, what was the high point of your year for you? Anything?
I'll go.
Okay.
No, what goes, sis? No. I feel like this year I really focused on myself, and that wasn't even a New Year's resolution. It wasn't a goal going into the year. I think earlier in the year, I just decided that I would just focus more on what makes me happy, and I've literally done nothing but that this year. So. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing, to actually have that opportunity. That's a blessing in life to be able to really focus on yourself. What's one thing that you really, really did best that really, really, really made you feel really good?
I would say traveling by myself. And once I had the courage to travel by myself,
mm-hmm.
It's like I found so much more about myself than I even realized. I found out that I love jazz music, and I love being outside and making experiences for myself. And more that I did solo travel and stuff, the less I became attached to material things.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's really insightful, man. Just to pull that and extend it out, what was the one trip that you took that was really a special one that you're going to remember? Because you said you did quite a few, and it does take courage to open up and travel by yourself. I got to give her that. Yeah.
I think maybe the trip that I took to Houston.
Okay.
I went by myself. Well, originally it was planned for me and 3 other people to go.
Mm-hmm.
By the time came to go, everybody had dropped out.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I am in this travel group. And so I just posted in a travel group hey, I'm going to be in Houston. What's going on in Houston? I'll be there on a solo trip. And all of these women started reaching out to me saying I'm in Houston, or I'll be in Houston. And before I knew it, it was 6 of us linking up, and we've been friends ever since.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
So one girl came from Toronto. She came from Canada. Okay. Another girl, she lived all the way in Kuwait, was coming home for her, she was having a surgery, so she was coming home and happened to be there. Another girl was coming from Austin, and we all linked up, and we still are really good friends.
That's amazing.
Wow, I think that's incredible. That's why you do have to step out. You talked about courage, but behind courage is really another word. It's a big F word. It's faith.
Mm-hmm.
Because you cannot be courageous if you don't have that belief behind you that everything's gonna be all right. Even though it didn't start out like that. Was there anything else you want to share before we move on?
No.
Alrighty. We'll get to resolutions later. But I love the reflection piece and for us to look back. Allie, you want to go, or Dar, were you ready?
No, Allie can go.
All right, Allie.
This year, reflecting back on it was, I think I've said this before, was a year of learning lessons. It wasn't, I can't necessarily look back on it and say oh, this was just a horrible year. I can't wait till it's over. There's been a lot of bad situations or things that have happened, but I've used it as a learning lesson instead of just seeing the negative and the downside. Mm-hmm. And they were lessons that I really needed to learn. They're lessons that taught me after so many years on this planet that I needed to learn how to love myself and find who I am. And that's the most important thing I think I did this year, was figured out how to love myself. And so much came and fell in place after that. Mm-hmm. And all of it brought a sense of peace in my life. Okay. And so going into next year, I want to apply my lessons that I've learned.
You talked about doing things for yourself. What was the one big thing that you really did that you hadn't done in previous year that you did for yourself this year that made the difference?
I think I finally just decided to stop letting other people's opinions of me affect the way I saw me. And so I think that is the most important thing I did for myself, is to finally stop caring what everybody else's opinion, or let their opinion of me mold who I thought I was, because that had me trapped in a horrible place for a long time. So the most important thing I did was stop listening to other people, and it was to love me, and that changed everything about my life.
Yeah, because when you're looking through the lens of somebody else's eyes to see who you are, you never really see yourself. You see what their perception is of you through their projection of what they see. So it's really good to take the step back and say, you know what, I need to just take care of me. You know, you talked about it bringing you a sense of peace. And I think that for all of us, we strive for peace. That's the part, you know, so much going on with us every day.
Well, and I think it brought a sense of peace, because, I mean, if you think about it, like when people spend time being angry or hostile or upset, it's because of somebody else's words or actions or what have you. And when it brings a sense of peace, when I learned to love me, I didn't have to react to what you thought about me, because it didn't matter. So that's why it brought a sense of peace, because, I mean, I'm still working on it by all means, but it gives me the ability to not to react to everything, and just to let it go. And that brings me peace, that I don't have to worry about what everybody else is saying or thinking or doing. That.
I'm glad to hear that. So Dar, for you, reflect, tell us.
I think this is why we all came together as sisters, because we were all growing and learning in ourselves. And I think that's why we connected so much, because this year as well was about me. Like, I spent so much time catering to and caring for so many people that I never took the time to care for myself. So while I always love me, I've never attached my emotions to me. My emotions is always attached to somebody else. So when I detached all of my emotions from everything, and I mean, the detachment was real. So like this year, I am learning to allow myself to feel those things that I would block out, that I didn't want to feel, because, you know, going through the divorce, it took me somewhere mentally that, I mean, some people may understand and some people may not understand, but, you know, to put my business out there like that, like, girl, you out there just telling all your business. Yes, we just gonna air it all. We just gonna move on forward.
But that's how we help other people.
Right, exactly. The divorce really fucked me up. So even and I was the one that requested it. I was the one that asked for it, but mentally it just took me to a different place. And so I had to allow myself to be able to allow somebody else to love me, because, you know, when going into relationships or situations or friendships, I wouldn't allow that. Like, I don't get attached to me. I don't got time for that. Like, the minute somebody started to show me that they were into me or they're caring for me or those types of things, I shut it down. Like, I ain't got time for that, because I just didn't feel like it was genuine. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I just put this big wall up against anything that had to do with emotions.
Well, people actually reflect to the future about what has happened in history. So if you're talking about going through a divorce, you might remember some of the good things, but as you're going through that divorce from somebody who, I've gone through 2 divorces, so I know that there's a part of you that's always longing for the identity that's connected to the marriage, but then there's a piece of you that's saying that this is squelching me, I need to get out.
Right.
And that sounds like to me where the fence where you were, and you finally figured that out.
And then I became, you know, an empty nester, so, you know, not having to deal with kids and those types of things, that I was really able to focus on myself. So I took 5 trips this year. Absolutely love them all. And I travel by myself all the time. So
Where'd you go?
I've been to Miami twice. I went to Phoenix. I went to Ohio. We
Okay.
went to the Dominican. So local stuff and stuff abroad. But I'm already booking trips for next year.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about experiences
Yeah.
now. So I'm like trying to experience everything that I can right now. Like material stuff, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
I'm about life experiences. Like, show me something, teach me something. Like, I'm out, I'm ready to grow, and I'm ready to continue in the path that I've started.
Mhm.
So I'm already down this path. And what I realized recently is that I've been so detached from my heart and my feelings, and when it comes to relationships, that I wouldn't allow myself to do that.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
now I'm just trying to come out of not allowing myself to be emotionally attached to anybody. There's this huge wall.
Okay.
So when I feel like somebody is getting behind that wall,
Mhm.
it's quick for me to flee.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm
Yeah.
out. I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel the pain that comes from hurting.
Mhm.
I don't feel the pain. I don't want to feel the pain that comes from loving somebody and they break your heart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to give somebody that part of me, for me, is very emotional.
Yeah.
So
it is.
if I'm going to give you that part of me, there's usually this in my mind that's saying something is not. It's just
We all got
something
that
is not
gut
gonna go
feeling. We
right.
know.
Like this just something
Just
ain't gonna
keep
go right.
sweat.
With it.
Something ain't right.
And I run, and I can't even say that I embrace it and try to learn from it. I run from it, and that has been what I've been doing, is running from it. So my resolution is to run to it instead of running from it. So we'll see what happens with that.
We'll talk about those a little bit deeper in the next segment. You know, we'll do it here.
What about you, Elle?
So for me, y'all know, like everything for me is totally different. For me, because I've gone through the loss of my husband, it's coming up on 2 years. You know, I've been through divorces before, so there's a distinct difference in the closure that you utilize or the tactics that you use for coping mechanisms. Not to say that they're totally different, but because there's a lot of likeness to it. But for me, in reflecting back, I think about, there's a lot of things I really wanted to do in my life, and I don't put them on a bucket list. It's just stuff that I really wanted to do, and I've written it down. And what I've been doing this year is testing the process of manifestation and really, really getting into how you make it happen and watching it unfold. So I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story. I was sitting with a friend probably about a year ago, and this is where I started to test manifestation. And next year I'll be probably really be pushing this on my Instagram and on my Facebook. Yeah, I'll take them in the plug here on Instagram, because there is something to the manifestation. So like what I did is I needed a pair of shoes, y'all. Y'all know how I love shoes, right? So I needed a certain pair of shoes to wear with a certain outfit. And a friend of mine, we were sitting there, and I said, I had on a different pair of shoes that I was gonna wear. And he said, no, I think you should have a short sequin black boot, you know, with not a kitten heel, but a short heel, maybe a 1.5 to 2 inch heel, kind of a pointed toe. And as we were talking, because I'm a very imaginative, creative, analytical kind of person, my mind went there and I started visualizing a shoe, right? When he left, I picked up my iPad. I swear, y'all, I went to Amazon and I typed in black short sequin boot. And as I was doing it, I was visualizing what they looked like. I swear they had one size 10 left. I ordered them. It's the exact boot that I needed. That was the first time in my kitchen and the first time in my life that I realized, after having listened to people like Jim Rohn and listened to people like Tony Robbins and listened to people like Les Brown, that you could literally manifest stuff, and reading all the Rhonda Byrne stuff. So for me, it was all about, okay, if I can manifest the exact pair of shoes that I want, what else can I manifest? So then this show became a manifestation in my mind. It literally was. It was like, I want to talk to people. I know that there's things that I could tell people, things that I have that I really want to share. So the courage piece that you talked about, Bess, that was what it took for me, because I had everything I needed in order to do this show right here in the house. Because one, I had me, and I know I'm not afraid. Just turn the camera on, I'm ready to go. Okay, it's that simple. So I'm putting out in the universe that we want this to actually be a live television show. We want to be picked up. I want that to manifest. So I saw that if shoes can manifest, that I could manifest a YouTube channel, somebody who basically figured out how to edit and all, I could manifest anything. So looking back, I'm looking back at all the things I was manifesting when I manifested the idea of a portable fitness floor, you guys. I actually patented a portable fitness floor. So I'm going to be demonstrating how you can use that. So it's all these manifestations. And then for me, the whole reflective piece is the courage to really sit down, write those lists, because all the things that Rhonda Barnes said to do in The Secret, there's a lot of people that sit down and they talk about it. I actually am doing it. And the cool thing is that I watch and I wait. Just like my sisters that came into my life, they always say that they'll bring you the people that you need, the purpose for the purpose that you're supposed to have. The people will show up if you start to vision it. The people showed up. These my sisters from other misters, but we tighter than Elmer's glue and crazy glue. It's serious like that. Y'all see the crazy glue commercial. And it's how you talk stuff into the universe, because I wrote it down. I wrote down what I wanted the show to be. I wrote down that I wanted to do interviews with people that expose the hidden figures here in this Fox cities, but I also was lonely and I wanted to do this with somebody else. So what happened is that you don't understand your purpose until you go through pain. Mm-hmm. And for me, I found what the purpose of my pain was in losing my husband, who I've been with for 21 years. I couldn't understand how anything could fill that void, but these three women, as I was thinking last night, I was crying because it was like, you have good people that come into your life and they only mean you well. So taking this show to another level, just from going on paper and manifesting a pair of shoes to saying, we can do this. Mm-hmm. And then you guys showed up and showed out. So that for me was the whole thing, is really going back. There's a song called Testimony that I used to sing in church all the time and say, when I look back over my life and I think things over, I can truly say I got a testimony. Mm-hmm. Y'all, I done survived 4 fires, 2 divorces, and 2 deaths of 2 people. I can do this show. We can do this. I can do anything. That's what I learned this last decade. So going into a new decade and we thinking about what we want to manifest. So I say to all of us here, I know that from what we have courage. We are resilient because we resolved to move forward into the new decade of 2020. We Voices RandomISH, Women of Voices RandomISH, and we got this, y'all. We're going to do this. So to 2020, cheers to more things, good things to come. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
How much time was that?
I'm gonna